Good evening, baseball fans. It is July 20th. I'm pretty sure it's a Thursday. I'm not sure because it's the middle of summer and I've lost all track of time. This is Susie. I'm all by myself as a host, but I have a very special guest named Emily Nyman. Maybe some of you will recognize her from the Breaking Balls podcast. We love her around here. Even though she's a Yankees fan. We'll forgive her for that, but that's okay, right? Like we love all of our fans here, right? Anyways, it's been a hot minute since we've been here. So if you're new around here, a warning. If young children are around, you should probably, I don't know, maybe not listen to this with them around. I'm not here to tell you what to do though. But there will be a rated R warning put on this. Lots of cussing. The F word is my second favorite thing that starts with F around here. There will be drinking, bourbon, actually bourbon this time. If you're not new around here, you'll know that that is quite rare. And then probably sexual innuendos because that's how we roll. But again, I am here. Emily is over there. And we're going to get into it. We're going to do a little bit of interview and then a little bit of kind of what's going around the league and all of the fun AL East.
It's very fun. Yes.
War?
That is the word for it.
Battle?
That is a word.
I don't even know what's going on over there in the AL East because I'm over here in the AL West still looking up at the motherfucking Rangers. Anyway, so like I said, if you're new around here, there's your warning. That's the first F word. I've lost count of how many F words we've said, but you know, it will be a lot this time. So, but before we get into it, guys, I got a bourbon. I got a bourbon.
Boomtown.
Old Humble Distilling in Humble, Texas. Boomtown bourbon, y'all. Boomtown bourbon. If, like I said, if you're new around here, you know that this is not a normal thing. Normally, I'm a vodka or a tequila girl, but we're trying the bourbon, so we're gonna see if I actually make a face. We're gonna see. So we got
over ice.
Over ice because I'm a bitch. I'll just be really fucking honest about that. And I don't know the difference.
Like that's a pussy thing? Drinking with ice is like a pussy thing?
Apparently, I don't know.
Oh my god.
So I've been told, but like by, you know, like machismo guys that
like by guys that are actually gigantic pussies.
Yeah. They're like it's gonna put hair on your chest. Bitch, why the fuck do I want hair on my chest? Like I don't want any fucking hair on my chest. But we'll see.
Like, who says I don't already have that? Okay.
Exactly.
You've never seen my chest.
I'm like, you know, I have to tweezy. No, I'm just kidding. So like I said, I've got this Boomtown bourbon. We're gonna see if I make a face. Like I said, I don't know anything about bourbon or whiskey, so you can take my opinion with a grain of salt, but that's all right. It apparently is available in 34 states. So Emily, if you are a bourbon drinker or you know any bourbon drinkers, it can be shipped to New York. So
I'm not much of a drinker. Smoker.
Ever?
Smoke weed.
Okay.
No, not really. I drink probably like once a year, really. I get absolutely annihilated at my office Christmas party every year, and that's basically it.
I feel like that's a great place to get annihilated. Like that's sure, let's do it.
Yeah, I like pretend that I know, like, because I'm like, it's really expensive wine. I don't even drink ever. So like, what the difference does it make? I don't know the difference. So I feel the need to drink 3 bottles to the head because it's expensive. I just throw it all back up.
You're like, okay,
in the evening.
Great. This is exactly what we want to do. I don't drink wine either because I'm not a real adult, and that's what I've been told. They're like, Susie, how are you not drinking wine anymore? Don't know. It doesn't taste good to me. But this bourbon,
just pretending.
This bourbon is all right. So again, if you're a real bourbon drinker and you're coming here for my bourbon takes, probably the wrong idea. But if you want a bourbon that doesn't, I don't know, taste like gasoline and burn going on the way down, here we go. Yeah. Apparently it's like, I don't know, 90 proof or so. I don't know. I don't know my alcohols. Apparently, I pulled up the actual thing on it to give you some sort of like context. I say you, not you, Emily, you know, but like the people.
Well, I need it. I don't know.
Apparently this is made from 72% corn, 19% rye, and 9% malted barley. I don't know why that matters, but whatever. 45% alcohol volume. There we go. That's what it is. So it's delightful. It's not the worst thing that I've ever put in my mouth. So, take that with a grain of salt. However you will. And if you go to oldumbledistilling.com and you want to purchase one of these bottles, you can get free shipping with the code FREESUZY. FREESUZY. Don't get any ideas about that code. It's literally just for free shipping for the whiskey. FREESUZY. I'm not I don't know. It's not like a secret hidden message or anything. I'm not being held captive. It's not one of those
free Susie, hashtag free Susie.
Yeah. It's not one of those Susie's kidnapped and the kidnappers are letting her use social media to, make sure that all of the appearances
I'm
are
sure,
good.
I'll be a guest on her kidnapping.
Yeah, that's... Shh, Emily, don't give it away. Jesus. So, and I think I found out about you in my searches for female-led baseball podcasts. Like a year and a half ago when I really dug deep into the absolute abyss that is baseball podcasts. And then I realized that 94.5% of them were made by old white guys. And
yes,
cool. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted at all. And I came across yours and I was like, well, kind of like this girl. And then you dropped your first F-bomb and I was like, well, now I really like this fucking girl and she may be my favorite person ever. So, and then, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I've lost all track of time, like I said, because it's summertime around here. We were on a podcast together with our good friend Kelsey of Peace, Love, and Baseball, and it just solidified my love for you even more. And
likewise.
And now you're here, and I'm so excited about that. So thank you so much for joining us, Em.
Thank you for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
If people aren't aware of Emily's podcast, give us kind of the elevator pitch of what your show is kind of about.
Well, it's called the Breaking Balls podcast. It's a baseball podcast. I mean, sometimes we talk a little bit about Lego and other shit that I like, but we basically talk about the Yankees. It's with my co-host, who is also my cousin, John. He is a Mets fan, and we just shoot the shit every week. We talk about both teams. We talk about a little bit of things going around the league, and we just have a good time.
Is he going through it right now? Does he just want to unalive himself and just jump off all the bridges, or is
he's a Mets fan. Yeah,
so
he's a Mets
used
fan.
To it.
So yes,
okay.
There was one of those last year was great, and this year they were cautiously optimistic. But then when things took a turn, it's like, are they going to flip out about it? This is like the mode that they usually are switched in at this point in the season.
That's
so
fair.
Whatever.
That's fair. How are you feeling over there? Are you ready to unalive yourself over the Yankees record, or are you just whatever?
I mean, the record I really don't care about. In terms of last place, whatever. If this were a situation where there weren't all 5 teams in the division over 500, it'd be a different story. But I stopped having hopes for the division many weeks ago because basically, if for no other reason than last season, the first half, the Yankees were the Rays. They played 700 baseball. So when the second half came around and they did almost an about face and they played 300 baseball in August and they were really, really awful. The lead that they had built in the first half was just too much that the other teams, the Rays, the Blue Jays, they couldn't, it was insurmountable. So I knew that was going to be the case for the Rays, that even if they took a dump the second half, like the Yankees did last year, they still had such a substantial lead in the division that there's too many stars that have to align because they have to lose and then you have to win on the same day. And it's just trying to make up fucking 10 or 12 games. It's just not going to happen. So I've been looking and having my sights set on the wild card for a while now. So as long as they stay within a shot of the wild card, literally up until the last week, I'm okay. So it is what it is. It's the Yankees, I follow them too closely to be this is the year for some reason, Rodon heading him is great and re-signing Judge is great, but I had no reason to believe otherwise that anything else was going to be different. I knew that they were going to get into the postseason somehow, most likely. And if they're hot when they go in, great. That's really what they're banking on every single season. Just about who's hot.
Let me ask you this then. since you obviously do follow the Yankees as closely as you do you think that it has, since it's become the baby Steinbrenner and not daddy Steinbrenner, do you think that the younger Steinbrenners have just been okay with maybe not being the championship team, not taking it all the way and just being like good enough to get into the playoffs because they're like, bro, we're getting money either way. So why are we going to spend, 90 gajillion dollars to win a World Series when we're making enough just getting into playoffs?
I think that, and this isn't even to like let Hal off the hook specifically. I think that it's a much larger, it's just like indicative of a larger shift in terms of how MLB goes about salary and all these things, that basically they imposed a luxury tax, which is a fake salary cap. So
Right.
the cap it makes an artificial ceiling on the market. So then when you have a ceiling, it, in that context, makes like the Mets payroll and the Yankees payroll look huge in comparison to all the other payrolls, because that's the top. Where in reality, they can spend more than that, because with the Yankees, the way it used to happen is the small market teams that tank, they're allowed to tank because
Right.
they're in a small market. So they tank multiple years in a row. They rack up really, really high draft picks, and then they develop them and then make a run for it. And most of those teams, they eventually they have those guys for like the first 6 years of their service time as major leaguers, and then they either trade them or they let them walk. And that's where the big market teams come in, like the Yankees, where then they used to say, okay, because we don't ever draft high, the highest draft picks that they have is probably like 30th in the first round. So like they don't ever draft really high because their record is too good. Plus they can never tank because they don't get rewarded for tanking like the small market teams do, because they're a large market. So they then have the benefit of signing the proven major league talent that's been developed by another team. The problem is they're not doing that anymore. And they're not doing it because owners are, they have been suppressing wages. And I know it sounds crazy, people listening, these guys are making millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
But the reality is the league makes record profits literally every year except for 2020. Like, I'm not kidding. From 2002, every single year they've made higher revenue than they did the previous year. So salary, like overall payroll, T-payroll, has not risen even close to the same rate that revenue has gone up over the years.
Right.
So when you consider that, it makes it very difficult for the Yankees to do what they used to do, because now the players at the top, their salaries have gone up as far as fans are concerned. Every year a new player in free agency is making the record for a position player or a record for a pitcher. So we all think that like, oh, salaries are really going up. But no, they're just taking up a larger percentage of the overall team salary than they used to. So now you have 3 guys that take up 40% of that number that everyone thinks is huge. And it makes it difficult to then, okay, so now they're not going to sign anybody because they're at they're already over the luxury tax that they've self-imposed. But they don't draft really high. So they can't develop guys. They don't get a core of guys like the Astros or the Rays or the Orioles. So because of that, they are just like pilfering, the discarded replacement level players from other organizations. The organizations that draft high but have shitty player development and they have no plan. So they get players that are pretty good and then they just let them go. They don't see any potential. Yankees have really good player development, so they pick them up and then they squeeze a year or so out of, Gio Urshela or fucking Billy McKinney or Jake Bowers. These guys that are like, this guy is fucking, this guy's has an 800 OPS. Like, really?
Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah.
Exactly. And then when they are done, they churn and burn. Then they fucking get rid of them, throw them back into the trash, and then they just go and find somebody else. So like, sorry, I'm ranting because I literally was just thinking about this today. I spent like 5 hours at work, like thinking about this entire thing. So it's really funny that we're talking about it.
Oh, I'm so glad that we're on the same wavelength then, Em.
Yes.
And I'm like, here you go, Em. Here's your platform. Let's go.
And like fans, and it gives like this, it makes fans think that it's possible to build a much better roster without like spending more money on free agencies or drafting high multiple years in a row. Like, this has been an added benefit of keeping the blame focused on And it has the added benefit of keeping the blame focused on the GM and the manager, because then it's like, hey, any failure of this team is their fault and the decisions that they've made, because they can be better and they can have a better roster. But can they? I mean, they need guys like Judge. They need guys like Cole. They need another guy like Rodon. So once you are like, okay, we can't get rid of those salaries, we can't spend that money elsewhere, the rest of the money goes to guys like DJ LeMahieu. And it's like, yeah, he was good, now he's not. That's baseball.
I don't know. Josh Donaldson has been just awesome for y'all.
I know. And it's just like, but even so, someone today was like, oh yeah, like Cashman, you know, he won't admit that the Gio Urshela and Donaldson trade was bad. And it's like, well, Gio Urshela is, yeah, sure, he's better than Josh Donaldson, but that's not saying much. He's still below average. So like, would that change the situation in New York right now? No, I don't think it would. And I don't really know if anything's going to change, because this like little economy of Major League Baseball and this ecosystem that all of these teams have is set up this way. And I don't really see it changing fundamentally anytime soon, because a fundamental change that I would want to see, and I think that would bring things back to how the Yankees kind of used to be in all of our memories, is the owners spending more money. And owners of any business, they never want to spend any more money, especially fucking miserly billionaires that are like greedy fucking capitalist pigs. Like, they're not spending shit. Okay.
Well,
so
I mean, unless you're Steve Cohen, unless you're Steve Cohen, it's like, fuck it all. Like, we're just all of it. I'm in just all the money. Here you go. Just all of it. Is Judge, because I've heard that he's coming back like next week, and then I've heard like he's not coming back till next season. And quite honestly, my ADHD brain is like, oh, I need to look into that. And then I see something shiny and I'm like, oh, fuck it, it's gone now. And so I don't do it. What's the word on the street?
Let me just say this. If he weren't coming back until next season, I'd be beside myself for a very long time. So that's your indication. If you see me like really start to tweet like, this thing's even worth it anymore, like really like forlorn things, that's how you'll know that he's like he's out for the season. But from what I've heard, they're thinking of having him come back next week, maybe to DH a little bit against the Mets in a 2-game series. But I think that he'll probably be back at the latest by August 1.
Okay.
He's been like running and stuff and hitting. And
has he done any like rehab starts or anything, or
no, not yet.
Just straight back?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be right back.
Judge is like, not enough time for them, and we're good. All I need to do is just get in the box. Okay.
That's exactly right.
That's what we want to see with Yordan, and everyone's like, no, he needs a rehab start. I'm like, motherfucker, do y'all not realize who Yordan is? Like, I'm pretty sure he's good. Like, what are we doing here?
And also, like, there's not really enough time for that. Like, if this were last year and the Astros were sitting pretty at the top of the division with, you know, less than 60 games left to play, maybe he would. Though actually, I wonder, because Judge tore the ligament in his toe. It basically was like a turf toe situation. And Yordan, if memory serves, was an oblique strain, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he might do a rehab, because
he's doing a rehab now in Sugarland. Yeah. And so we're just like, what's going on? How? But then, so he had a rehab start yesterday, and today was a scheduled off day apparently. And I was like, what are we doing? Why is it a scheduled off day on for rehab? Like, what's happening? And we're in Oakland right now, right? And so I'm like, just send the motherfucker to Oakland. Like, it's the A's. What are we doing? That's like, it's pretty much a rehab start. Like, we're not sending him to left field. Have him DH. I don't know. Anyways, but that's neither here nor there. Let me ask you, because we have, I say we, I am of the camp of Dusty Baker is the best manager ever. No, he's not. He is a player's manager. He has won us a World Series. And I have said this from kind of the very beginning, that we won in spite of Dusty Baker and not because of Dusty Baker. And that got me in some trouble. But I still maintain that, because literally we're like 4.5 games back of the Rangers. And I'm just saying that, I don't know, maybe in the other starts that we've had where he DH'd like Rylan Bannon, you're like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we DHing a guy with like a 56 WRC plus? Like, there are better players literally on the fucking bench that you were just refused to play. Like, what's happening? And I'm not saying that, if they played those players, we would have a better record, but I'm like, it's just law of averages. I mean, I'm Asian and I don't do well math. I don't do well math. I don't do math well. Apparently, I don't do English well either. But it would feel like it would be a little bit closer if we played the good players more often and not the bad players. But that's, neither here nor there. So, what are your feelings on Aaron Boone? Because I've heard lots of varying things about Aaron Boone and how good of a job he's doing.
I mean, I think that the manager, especially in like today's game, is he's the front-facing employee that represents the Yankees and most of all the team. That he's out there this is for every single manager, not just Boone, but he literally is in front of the press every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, before the game, after the game. So he's in the paper, on local radio shows and everything like that. He's their PR guy, basically. Right. And his job is to just do that and to be that guy that's giving non-answers and being just like positive, even though there's nothing to be positive about. Because the days of like a manager going on TV and like undressing a player or like calling out a player are over, because it never resulted in anything good. So it's just not what he's there for. I think that, and this isn't to say that he always pulls the right trigger, like right. No one does, but this is and I feel like it's like this in every sport, but I feel like especially in this sport, sometimes the right decision can still result in a failure.
Right.
So the idea that like, oh, he should have done X because Y didn't work. It's like, okay, well, there's nothing that would guarantee that X would work. And that's not, you can't manage. Sometimes it's like you have to manage in a bigger picture, but sometimes you have to think about, okay, well, we need to win this game. So it's sure. Are there times where I'm like, why the hell is that person? Is he having this guy come in? Why is he having that guy do that? But I also think that a lot of decisions aren't necessarily up to him. So it's like, I'm not a manager person, like the players have to play. It's right. Not like Boone is being like, okay, swing now. It's like, why didn't he tell him to hit? Like he's not, they have to perform at the end of the day. So right. The team being in the state that it is, it's no fault of his. I mean, this team, we have fucking 2 utility infielders starting in the outfield every single day. So like the idea that Boone is holding this team back is just makes no sense. And also people they won, 103 games in 2019. People were still complaining about Boone. It's like, how much better can this team be?
They didn't win the World Series, so
I know.
Failure.
I know.
Just a failure. I don't understand why that's a question. Like duh, there you go. Like that's why. No. Yeah, so apparently now right before we started recording, the Orioles took sole possession of first place in the AL East, and I was like, wow. Look at you.
Collapsed by the Rays. And I was just like, it'll never happen. I gave up on the division. Clearly it was just because of the Yankees. I was like, no one's catching the Rays, and they did as I was saying that.
Yeah, so the Orioles just said, cool, y'all just keep looking at the Rays. Just don't mind us over here with our starting rotation of fucking Kyle Gibson and Kyle Bradish. You're like, who? Exactly. Like, no worries. We don't have a true ace in our starting 5, but it's cool because you know what? We got guys that's gonna fucking bang, and that's really all that matters. I'm all, all right, I see you, Gunnar Henderson. Look at you coming up, and Colton Cowser. Like what the fuck? Anyways,
I know. So yeah, don't worry, they'll be traded in a few years.
Yeah. Although
just like Manny,
the front office of the Orioles was pretty much the building blocks from the Astros, and literally every time we play them, I'm like, is that why? Because they have the book on all of our players. Like they just know what the fuck we're gonna do. Like what the fuck? I don't understand how we play the Orioles, and the guy that has like a 6-point-something ERA has now turned into a Cy Young fucking candidate. Did we just fucking forget how to hit? Like what is happening here? But
have you been watching the Yankees at all? They've been doing that to every pitcher that they come across. Like they are just fucking making confidence levels boost around the league for pitchers like Grayson, whatever his name was on the fucking Rockies.
Yeah.
I wasn't 6 shutout innings in Colorado.
I
Pathetic.
wasn't going to mention the Angels sweep and the Rockies beating y'all, but you know, I I was like, surely they'll it's the Angels. Like, I mean, like I get it, like it's the Angels, so whatever. But then I was like, no, they didn't get swept by the Angels. No, they didn't. They
Yes.
got swept by the Angels, and I was all, I'm sorry, and I don't even remember who the fuck it was a couple of nights ago, but I was like, I don't even know who this motherfucker is, but had I known he was gonna strike out like 12 Yankees, I would have fucking picked him up because that would have been all kinds of fucking points for my fantasy team. And then last
Just pick
night,
up the pitcher that's going against the Yankees. That's just my
apparently,
fantasy advice
I was like,
until Judge comes back.
and yeah, what's the record of games with Judge versus games without Judge? It's something dumb, and I was like,
Oh my God.
damn, look at you, Aaron Judge. But
yeah, like this is a sport where like it's one of those sports where because like the offense doesn't have control of the ball and they can't change possession on a dime, it makes it so like you can have some of the best players in your lineup, but they can't carry your team. Like that's why
right.
Trout and Ohtani, how they've been just wallowing away on the Angels. Where in other sports, like it's like, oh, you draft a fucking great quarterback and suddenly that football team is a contender. Same thing with basketball. But turns out that if there is a formula, if you have decent pitching and a good bullpen, the Yankees do, one superstar player can absolutely carry your team because that is what was happening. And then he got hurt, and it was like, wow.
Well,
this
but like
is fucking horrible.
that's what because I was like, okay, like Aaron Judge got hurt. Sucks. But you got Stanton, you got Rizzo. DJ LeMahieu was playing good for a while, and I don't know what happened. And then like
Juice balls.
oh, okay, well, yeah. So I was like, Aaron Judge is not playing all of the positions, so I don't understand why y'all can't win without Aaron Judge. I'm like, is he that much? Is he not traveling with the team? Is he that much of a like clubhouse? Like what's the dynamic there that it's literally like Judge isn't in the lineup. We don't know what to do. Like they're just throwing their hands up. They're like, fuck it. We're just waiting for you to come back, sir. What's going on?
I know, it's crazy. And it's just like Ohtani he's on pace in some categories, outpacing Judge's 2022, which was one of the best individual seasons of all time. And what I noticed, especially watching Ohtani play the Yankees, is he was doing what Judge was doing last year in that like he hit a fucking bomb in one of the games, and someone was like, oh, that pitch was like my grandmother could hit that pitch. Like people are saying how great he is, but that was right down the middle. And it's like, well, that's what makes like really prolific hitters really great. It's not that they're able to turn shitty pitches into home runs or hits. It's that they don't swing at those pitches, but they swing at almost every strike and they hit nearly every single mistake because any pitch that's left out over the strike zone is a mistake from a pitcher. So that's what Judge was doing last year. It was like a video game. It was insane. He was just hitting everything. And Ohtani's doing the same thing. So like, that's what we're missing. We're missing the discipline. He doesn't swing at really bad pitches. His strikeouts are less than they were in the earlier portion of his career. He hits the ball so hard that he hits for average. He hits for power. And this is like a sport where it's so easy to lose focus, and like losing can make you lose focus and failure. And I'm sure you've heard a million times that like picking up your teammate, like, yo, good job picking him up. Like when someone strikes out, the next guy gets a hit or gets on base, like you did a good job of picking up your teammate. And what it does is that it helps your teammate who's now focusing on their failure to refocus on the objective. There's no one in the lineup to do that for the Yankees. So like, it's just in this constant state of failure and guys that aren't that great, who only have sporadic moments or a few games of being really good. So then when you have everybody pressing, you have a bunch of guys that are not really that great, and you don't have your guy that is the straw that stirs the drink. It makes it really hard for the offense to get going and to string hits together, because even when someone does get on base, Glaber's been pretty decent for the last few weeks. He's making fucking bonehead mistakes on base because they don't have faith that the next guy is going to be able to basically like turn the carousel for them. So they're being overly aggressive on the bases, Bader too, and they're getting thrown out, making really bad mistakes. And it's like people think that it has to do with like discipline, and like as if Aaron Boone like as if they need to like run laps as like punishment, like you're in high school. But I really don't, it's not that. It's that they're trying to do too much and they don't have enough to do it with.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's really what the big problem is that Aaron Judge is just so constant that not having him and then having a bunch of guys, like it just makes their age regression a little bit more clear. You know,
Right.
Stanton is streaky, and I think that he'd be less streaky if Judge were in the lineup if he weren't pressing the way he is. Rizzo hasn't hit a home run in a fortnight. So like a fortnight, I don't even know how much time that is, but it's probably more than that. But it's just they're spiraling big time.
Yeah, I know that Rizzo is sucking right now because he's on one of my teams, and I'm all, what the fuck is happening right now, Rizzo? Like, and then as soon as I bench him, he had like a 3 for 4, and I'm all, I was like, is it me? Do I just need, what the fuck? Like, okay, fine, Rizzo, back in the lineup you go. Sure enough. Oh, I was like, I hate you, Rizzo. But really though, so I was looking at the roster the other day, and I was like, who the fuck are these people? Like, did Bader get hurt again?
I think so, like a fucking rib contusion or something.
Oh, Jesus. So now who's in center field?
Probably kind of Falefa. He's been like playing out there because now he's an outfielder. And he's a guy, just like last year, he's a great utility guy. He can literally play every position.
Right.
But he's not meant to be a starter. And the problem is when you roll out guys as starters who are just really good utility, it makes it so clear, like the talent and the skill disparity between even guys who were on the bench and guys who were in the starting 9. So when you're seeing him every day, it's like this fucking guy, and he's not an outfielder. He's doing the best he can. He's doing pretty good considering.
Right.
But he's like 5'5" and he's an infielder. So like, it's really tough. And I really give him a lot of credit. I give these guys a lot of credit. They're the worst, like over 500 team I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't believe that they're over 500. I mean, I'm sure they won't be for long. They're going to, that's the way things are looking, but it's just, I almost feel bad now at this point, like clowning IKF. I mean, not really, but it's just like, what are we doing? That's why when people are like, this team, they suck, they could be playing better. Can they? I don't think so.
You're like, I don't know what you expected from Franchi Cordero. Like, what's going on?
Exactly. Like we have a bunch of guys that like can maybe have a good few games, a good 3 games, but a good season that does not make.
Right. Yeah. I looked at, what did I see? Was it on Codify? I don't even fucking remember, but it was like all of the starting 9s, like OPSs, and I'm all, that can't be right. And it was like Glaber had the highest OPS. I'm all, I don't know if that's right. And then again, I saw like something shiny and it distracted me, and then I didn't fact check that. So I was like, wait, is that for real? And so I meant to fact check that before, like literally right before we got on, and I didn't do that either. So, you know, we're very prepared over here on the unprofessional side of podcasting. So
that's what makes podcasting fun and real. So it's fine.
This is true. Yeah. So, what do you think will happen with the Yankees at the trade deadline? Do you think any big moves will be made, or I know you are a smart baseball fan, so you don't actually expect Shohei Ohtani to come over. So what do you think is going to happen with the Yankees?
I really don't know. I would like to think that they'll try to at least get a corner outfielder, a left fielder. That's been like a huge problem for them, because even when Judge and let's say Judge and Bader they come back, they still have Isaiah kind of Falefa in left field, or Oswaldo Cabrera in left field, and it's just not cutting it. They can't be in the lineup. That's a position that you have to have offensive output from. So it's just not really working for them. So I'd like to think that they're going to try to do something about that, kind of like they did last year. I mean, Benintendi, he sucks. I'm glad they didn't re-sign him, and he ended up getting hurt and not being able to play in the playoffs anyway. But I like the effort. So I'm hoping that they do something like that again, because this team is just not, even if they get to there is no temperature of hot that this team could get that would be hot enough to make a run in the postseason. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being dead serious that, like, because that's the thing, the hottest team can just win. It doesn't have to be the best team, but they can't get that hot. They just can't. It would have to be Judge getting that hot, and you're facing the best postseason, the pitching in the league during the postseason. Right. So when your team only has to shut down Judge, and Judge then is pressing a little bit extra because it's a postseason and he's got to step up. And so they need to get somebody out there. It can't be, and I love Stanton. And I think Stanton, he gets hot at the right time and he usually gets hot in the postseason. So I still have faith in him. But I still am nervous about it. I don't know. This team is just not going to do it. So going to the postseason, and other fans would call me a brat, but you know how it is. Like, your perspective as a fan is determined by like how your team does historically. Right. So the Yankees have they've only missed the playoffs like 4 times since I was 6 years old. I'm 37, just for so people can see how fucking long that's been. Just making the postseason is not like, it's not, who cares? It's right. Yeah, I take it for granted because that's always how it's going to be. This team is set up to be that way. So like, I am not impressed, especially now that 40% of the league can get into the postseason. So like, you still have to be better than some of the teams in there.
Yeah. Yeah. You would hope. Yeah. But then again, the Astros played the 87 win Phillies for the World Series. So, like you said, it's whoever gets fucking hot at the right time, right?
And I mean, you're skipping over, and I feel this is probably purposeful because I'm a bitter Yankees fan. I'm bringing it up. They lost because they beat the Phillies. They somehow David slew Goliath, and they beat those 87 win Phillies, but they lost to the wild card 91 win Washington Nationals. Howie Kendrick led Washington Nationals. That was like the best Astros team of all time, one of the best teams of all time. And that's just, the sport fucking sucks like that. Like, you can just, I mean, the dynasties even tainted people. Like, obviously I'm not trying to diminish what the Yankees did in the late 90s and early 2000s, but the 2000 Yankees, they only won like 80 something games. So it's not like every team was the 98 Yankees that won 114 games. Like, they had some teams in there that were just like, hey, they were good enough to get in, get the wild card spot, whatever. And then, hey, they got hot and they fucking beat the Mets. So right. Like, but as a fan,
I say right, like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, past 2018, I have no clue. That's before baseball, Susie, and I don't know that. So I'm gonna say, okay, and just nod my head and pretend like I know what you're fucking talking about.
Yeah, I mean, good, thank you. Now you have that little ammo for Yankee fans when they try to like talk about the yesteryear. It's like, okay, well, you had some teams in there that were not that fucking great. Like, now they won the World Series, and that's great, but like, come on, like they weren't all fucking steamrolling.
My husband sent me something the other day, and it was something about like the championship years or whatever, but it didn't label it as like the championship years. And I was like, what the fuck? What is happening here? Like, what is this talking about? And he's like, World Series, babe. Those are the years that the Yankees went to the World Series. And I was like, oh, okay. He goes, see, like, you've come so far in your baseball knowledge, but not obviously like far enough. And I was like, well, that's baseball history, babe. That's like, we can't do that. Like, nope. I'm going to just tell you about all of the people now on the Yankees. Okay. Like, and what's happening now. Can we do that? And he's like, I'm just telling you, you should probably learn. Well, fuck you, whatever. I'm like, no, tell me you're old.
And you shouldn't. I don't know anything really. I mean, I know like your basic like history knowledge of like certain players, like the big players of different eras. But my like real knowledge starts in the 90s and goes forward because listen, I don't give a shit about, like, I hate when people are like, oh, okay, but this 2023 team is doing really good, but what about that 50s team? They're on pace with them. It's like, the 50s? Get the fuck out of here with that.
You're like, no, absolutely not. Yeah.
No, I'm tired of that shit.
So my husband is, I say much older than me. He's almost 12 years older than me. So, we are different eras. And so his era of Astros versus my era of Astros, obviously completely different, right? And so he'll be like, back in my day. And I'm like, fucking, you sound so old when you say shit like that. Like, that, right? And he's like, I'm just saying. Day. He's like, when is Biggio? And I was like, okay, I get it. Whatever. Fuck you. That's fine. And so
like,
we'll get into
your day. It's like, they didn't do shit.
Yeah.
What is he bragging about?
Well, the 2005 fucking Astros went to, I don't fucking know.
Lost to the worst fucking World Series winning team in 50 years.
And I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "Wait, what?" And so when I first started watching baseball, um, Jose Cruz
Yeah.
would come on the TV, and I was so confused, and I'm like, Why are they booing Jose Cruz? I thought you said like Jose Cruz was like beloved." And he's like, "What? What are you saying right now?" I'm like, "They are literally booing Jose Cruz." And he's like, That's not what they're doing, babe. They're saying Cruz." I'm all, "Oh, okay, that makes sense, I guess. That's not booing. Got it. All right.
Yeah,
Noted.
it's somehow no,
Duly noted."
it's just super close to booing, and he
Yeah.
knows the difference.
And so he's like, "You're so cute sometimes." I'm like, "Fuck you, whatever." I was like, "Stop being condescending." I was like, "It literally sounds like booing. If you don't know who the fuck that is, that's." And so he's like, "Yeah, no, that's Jose Cruz." And so now I get it now. But same thing. Like my children are 8. Obviously, they're now getting into baseball. And same thing. They saw Jose Cruz. People started doing that. They're like, "Why are they booing? They're not supposed to boo people, mom." I'm like, "Nope, nope. I can understand why you're doing that." And it's so it's all it's a whole thing, but it's so cute when one of my children, I have 8-year-old twin girls, and one of them is more
Oh,
obsessed with baseball than the other, and she can tell you literally all the things about all the players, and it's so cute. I'm like, "You're gonna make the best baseball wife ever someday." And I pity the fool who like starts dating you and doesn't know shit about baseball, because she's gonna be mad. She's gonna be mad. She's gonna be like, take me on baseball dates." That's what she's going to demand, and then talk to her about baseball, because she will sit down with me and be like, "Wait, how did the Angels sweep the Yankees, mom? I thought you said that Angels weren't very good." And I was like,
they're
"Well," and she
not.
goes, "Wait, I remember now, because Aaron Judge got hurt, huh? And so they're not playing well." And I'm all,
It's
"You're
right.
so cute." I was like, "Yes, that's exactly correct."
That
And
is
so
it.
she's like, "Oh, okay." She goes, "But when Aaron Judge comes back, they're gonna be better." I'm all,
Yes.
"They hope.
The answer is yes.
They
They're
hope."
gonna be great.
And so, well, she already knows that she can be a fan of any team besides the Yankees and the Dodgers, and that's okay with us. And she's like,
No, she's gonna be an Astros fan.
"Oh, no,
She
she
better
won't.
be.
She won't be." But
Though
the
they
other
might
one's
be
like,
bad again by the time she's older.
"They might be bad again very soon. I don't know." Anyways, if, if we keep going down this road, and my husband loves to tell me that I'm, a spoiled Astros fan, because all I've known are the good Astros, and then that is apparently some sort of, like, bullet that I'm supposed to take, that I became a fan in 2018. They're like, "Well, after they were good." I'm all, "Yeah, but I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's how
shit
it
about
works.
baseball in, like, 2017, when, like, you fucking woke me up on the goddamn couch when Alex Bregman walked it off." I'm like, "I had no fucking clue what's going on." He was like, "I was so mad at you." I was like, "Ah." And so now I'm, like, super obsessed, and he's like, can you talk to me about anything but baseball? Just anything but baseball. Let's." I'm all, "Can't do it. Sorry. You started it. Now I gotta
Yeah,
finish it, apparently."
I've
So,
been that's my fiance's used to it because I've been talking about nothing but baseball for like the last fucking probably 25 years of my life. So
does he like baseball?
yeah, he does. Yeah, he
But
does.
is he like, can we talk about anything? Can we talk about Legos? Can we talk about, I don't know, like the Barbie movie? Can we talk about anything about baseball? Or
No,
does he
because
already know?
I'm like an unhinged crazy person. So like there's not enough time for him to even say that because I'll just like rant about something for 20 minutes, like as if I'm he'll just be like, mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
So that's part of the reason why I started the podcast.
Yeah, literally, he's the one who encouraged me to. He's the producer. He's the one who produces and edits it. He's like, "You should have a podcast." I'm like, "Why? You are my podcast audience. I only need you."
Exactly. Yeah, he's like, so that he's like, "You can you say this on your pod? Can you just save it all for your podcast? Don't you have a this is why you have a podcast, right? So that all of this you can just say on the pod." I'm like, "I can't go this unhinged on the podcast, Mike. Like, I will end up like the fucking
Oh, I
Frank the
do.
Tank. Okay? Like,
I
that's who I will end up like. I will be a meme." And he's like, "Hey, all publicity is good publicity, Susie." I'm all, "That's I can't. Nope, I can't. I can't go that unhinged. I can be a little unhinged. I can't go that far." And he's like, "So me giving you the suggestion of getting a podcast is still not going to save me from your rants, Mom?" Nope.
no,
No.
they get worse.
Yeah. I was like,
Like
"That's
what
why you're
the
here."
idea that he thought that this was going to like make you talk about it less. It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
fool. It
Like,
does the
absolutely not.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
I literally
Well,
like I'm a few like unhinged years away, or a few like my baseball disease, just like festering for a few more years longer of having like big cork boards with like the strings attached to things. Because I'll like stay up. Actually, it was a few weeks ago, an example. It was an Astros game, and I forget who they were playing. I believe it was Dubon. He came into, they were playing the Mariners. Dubon was running home. He was thrown out by fucking 15 feet. The umpires reviewed the play to see if the catcher was blocking the plate. They determined that no, he wasn't. The call on the field stood at whatever, end of the inning. Then there were some people online talking about, oh, he did block the plate. He didn't. I was literally up until probably 4:00 in the morning, like reading the rule, which is not the catcher's interference rule, which is not a long rule. It's short, just to make sure that I understood it, because there's always nuances and things and like caveats. And then I was like in the MLB film room watching different plays at the plate where the hitter, the runner's thrown out, and seeing like where the catchers are setting up and like what determines, like, because I have the sickness and now you're going to have it soon too. And I'm just really happy for you. Like really happy.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to do this deep dive on balks, because I still don't understand balks and when they're called and when they're not called, because literally I will watch things and I'm all, it's fucking balk. Like, what? That's literally, I was like, isn't the whole reason of a balk to deceive the runner on first? Like, that's the kind of the point of the rule, right? So if you're not trying to deceive the runner, then how the fuck is it? So I'm gonna need you to do a deep dive on that. I would love that, please. And
intent doesn't matter. That's the problem, because you can't determine intent.
But isn't that the whole point? Isn't that why the rule was fucking made? Like, because you're not supposed to deceive the runner. So I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck. And then,
like, but it is still kind of a dubious thing.
Yeah.
Well, some are really obvious that they balk, but other ones it's like, what? Where did it happen?
Like, and my husband will be like, oh yeah, no, it's right there, Mom. Right where? What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, right there. Don't you see? And I was like, obviously not, if I'm fucking asking you about this. And he's like, well, he bent his knee. And I'm all, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to slow-mo this down and like go frame by frame, because I don't fucking understand what the fuck you're talking about.
Because basically with the balk, like once the pitcher, once he puts his foot on the rubber and he brings his hand set, his next movement has to either be towards home plate, or towards the base to check the runner.
Right.
He can't flinch. He can't twitch his leg, nothing. If he moves, he has to throw the ball. So any movement, even in the tiniest movement, a twitch, just like a whatever muscle twitch, his arm moves, it's a balk. Because once they come set, their next move has to be to home plate. So that way the runner, because it would be way too easy to deceive runners if pitchers could like basically deke. And now, because it's a rule, and it's always been a rule, it's usually an accident. They're not trying to deke the runner, but it's just part of what they have to do. So that's why it's like, okay, well, you know that you have to sit here. So then when players, you'll see them sort of like that one with Ryan Stanek against the Dodgers, where he like twitched his leg and he flipped out. But it's like, bro, you twitched your leg. Like you picked your leg up off the mound. Like that's a balk. Like you can't, once you come, you can't do that. And sometimes it's not as cut and dry though, because like actually even with Ryan Stanek, I think that he didn't come set yet. So it was like, wait, so is that not a balk? Like how is that a balk if his hands aren't like this with the ball? If his hands are still at his side.
That's why I was so confused, because I was like, he was trying to step off. Like I was that was like a whole thing. And I was like, again, apparently that's gonna be my curse in life, that I will just never understand the fucking balk rule, because like
I don't even sometimes.
It's one of those, oh fuck, it's one of the twins for the Giants. Taylor Rogers, I don't know, one of the fucking submarine twins. Anyways, I saw one that it literally, I was like, if that's not the fucking definition of a balk, I don't know what the fuck is, because he literally got set and then like stepped off and then twirled, and I was like, is that not a balk? Is that what are we doing? And that's why I was like, I'm never going to understand what the fuck a balk is, because sometimes things are called that don't make any sense. And then sometimes I'm like, that's a balk. And they're like, no, that's not a balk. I'm like, how is that not a balk?
I'm pretty sure that it's about continuing the motion, that they can't. So that's how like Nestor Cortez was able to do all that fucking stupid shit with like he'd pick up his leg and he'd be able to swing it around, is because he's continuing his motion, as opposed to like twitching and then you're going back to set, like as if you're not about to throw the pitch. So it's like if you move, you have to keep moving. You can't move suddenly and then stop, is really what it is. But it's very confusing. It's very ambiguous. But that's what makes baseball so fucked up, is that there's so many things, because you can put all these rules on everything, but there's just like so many chances for different things to occur. So you can't, they try to anticipate as much as they can with the rules, but like there's even things that happen that have never happened before. So they don't know how to rule that. And like the judge, when he fucking ran into that stupid gate wall at Dodger Stadium.
Right.
He technically, because the wall broke, so he brought the ball out of play. So even though it was not intentional, it wasn't like into the dugout or into the stands, it was him going through a wall and then the ball goes out of play. They had to then give the runner who was on second, he got third because it was a dead ball. And fortunately, it ended up being moot. They didn't score or anything. But I remember I lost it because I thought that was crazy. Like that's considered out of play, but they have to call it as the rule book states, even though it's like that's something that's never happened before. But how else are they going to call it? They're just not going to call it. He brought it into an area that is on the other side of the fucking wall. So fucking Dodgers in that dumb stadium.
They're like, we're just going to put just a ... addendum. Unless Aaron Judge goes through a wall, then you're going to have to call it like this. That's what they'll have to do in the rule book next time. So we'll just do a sort of quick exercise on division winners and who you think will take it all. So do you want to start with the AL or the NL?
Host's choice.
Let's go NL.
All right.
Who do you think will win the NL West?
The NL West. I think it's going to be the Dodgers. They've already taken first place from the Diamondbacks. I feel like they just took it, but they're now already 2 games up. So that lead is just going to increase. So I think it's going to be theirs.
I have never rooted for the Dodgers to win so hard in my entire fucking life than I have right fucking now, because they have a 4-game series against goddamn Rangers. And it pains my soul to literally root for the Dodgers. But I have to. I fucking have to, because we keep winning and we don't gain any fucking ground. And the fucking Rays didn't do anything for us. God damn you, Rays. Anyways.
I have to admit, I have been, especially because the Yankees are so bad, I have been having like big time Schadenfreude when looking back at like tweets where people are like, oh, don't worry, enjoy first place now. Like, oh, you look at first place in May, like the Astros will be in first place by June. And it's like, oh, no. Have we pushed the goalpost back a little bit more? I mean, as long as you guys will end up catching up to them, like the Freeze in fucking Atlanta, the guy that like the fans get the head start and then they like let him go and they're like halfway there and he somehow beats them. So I'm feeling that'll probably end up happening. Though DeGrom's done for the whole year. So at least you don't have DeGrom coming back.
So DeGrom is done. Although Eovaldi said, fuck you, hold my beer. See, look what I can do.
I know.
So, he's been fucking lights out for him. John Gray has been all right. Martin Perez apparently is just blown the fuck up. I don't know what he's doing. And then Dane Dunning was like, it's okay, guys. Don't worry. I can be a really, really, really good 5 with like a sub-2 ERA. Don't worry about me. I'm good over here. So, it is what it is. But it's not only has all of their pitching stood up. I mean, their bullpen kind of sucks, but whatever. But they literally... You're like, Travis Jankowski, who the fuck are you? And why do you have like an almost 900 OPS? Like Jonah Heim, I'm sorry, when the fuck did you become good? Josh Young, what? No, just shut up. And so you're like, oh, fuck you. What happened over here? And that just...
I know. And Corey Seager should be a Yankee. I'm so mad about that. I can't, it enrages me.
I don't know why you're why you're not appreciating Anthony Volpe, because you had Anthony Volpe. That's why you didn't sign a good shortstop. Apparently, I don't know. Is it that? But that's why though. Like I say that like jokingly, but isn't that kind of why? Because you guys had Anthony Volpe.
It was like, yeah, it was like, oh, this, you know, we have a crop of prospects, and it's like, okay, but like the Yankee, like, and that's not to say that Volpe won't have a good career. I'm sure he'll be great, but a success from a player development standpoint is just like a shortstop who has like 100 weighted runs created plus, like who was just like an average hitter, good defender. That is like a success. The Yankees you can't fucking win shit with that, okay? Like, and if you do, then you have someone like Jeremy Pena, and that's fine. But like, then you need other players, not just Judge. Right. So like the idea that I was like, we're gonna skip and we're gonna play the kids, and everyone loved that. But I'm all, what about Judge? Judge was homegrown and promoted, and then now it's his time. Fuck Volpe and fuck Peraza. Like, Yankee fans they just love that. They eat it up. The kicking the can down the road, even though they say that they don't want it. They love that because now it's like, oh well, Volpe, these guys are the future. The future? Why would I care? Trade them for proven major league talent. Let someone else fucking develop them. Why do I care about the 2023 of the 2033 Yankees? I don't.
Like I care
I
about
don't give a shit. Yeah, it's crazy. People are like, all right, but we can't deplete the farm. Why not? Why can't we?
You're like,
no one can answer that. Yeah, exactly.
Obviously I'm not super familiar with the Yankees farm system, but I have heard the name Jason Dominguez floated about. What position does he play?
He's an outfielder. He plays, I believe he plays center field.
And how far away is he?
Apparently he's not too far. I think he's maybe next year. I think he might make his debut. So in terms of like when he's an everyday player, I don't know, because the Yankees, they fuck with their service time and shit. So I don't think that like, oh, they're going to promote him. His debut will be next year. And then he'll actually, well, that's not fair because they're kind of doing that with Volpe. So I shouldn't even really say that. I guess I've seen 2024 projection or 2025 because he's only like 19.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was like, I don't exactly know. And you know, the Mets with all of the Mets babies and all that bullshit. I'm like, all right, like I can see, like, yes, Alvarez is doing great for y'all. Brett Beatty was on a tear for a little bit, and then apparently Mark Vientos just got called back up. So maybe Mark Vientos will be the Mets savior. I don't fucking know.
Well,
but
anyways, it's like at this point, why not play these guys? Like they're just gonna fucking rot.
Right.
And also clearly the Mets have a player development. I mean, the Mets problems go much deeper. Like he couldn't spend enough money. He'd have to replace every player on the team. So like it goes, you need decent player development. You need role player guys that are just like league average. And it's better if you just have them in your system. Then you bring in some free agents. I mean, the Dodgers are a great example of just like kind of doing it all and able to be perennial.
Yeah. So, all right. So we got the Dodgers for the NL West. Who for the Central?
Oh God, NL Central. Like, I hate the Central divisions. I fucking hate them so much in both leagues. I'm just like, ugh.
What happened to y'all? Like, why? What is going on?
I'm like, oh, these cities still have teams? That's cute.
Like, you're so precious.
Meanwhile, too, I'm such a fucking asshole Yankee fan. The Yankees are horrible right now, and like I'm just like shitting on teams that are actually better than them. Patronizing them, like, oh, the Brewers.
Well, apparently Corbin Burns is now like vintage Corbin Burns. His last couple of starts, I'm like, oh, look at you, Corbin Burns, coming back with all the fucking strikeouts. Like, good for you.
They'll choke in the postseason like they do every single year.
But I don't know. Maybe they'll trade Devin Williams again. Who the fuck knows?
I do think it'll be Milwaukee though.
Okay.
Cincinnati is kind of like slowing down.
Do you not think that Cincinnati will trade for some pitching and then no? Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. So the NL East. Do you think the Braves are going to take it? Do you think the Braves are the wagon that they are?
Yeah. I mean, now they have a 10.5 game lead over the Phillies and the Marlins. So I think that neither of those teams are good enough to win enough games in a row. And the Braves won't lose enough games in a row for anyone to make any sort of meaningful ground on them.
It's true. That's true. Although the
divisional round, though.
The D-backs just won the series against them, which I was not prepared for. I was like, oh, look at you. I watched the 16, 15, 16, 13 game or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? No one can fucking pitch in the game and just all the bombs? Okay, cool. I was like, actually, this game is kind of fun. Never mind. I like apparently football score baseball games. That's
Chicks
fun.
dig the long ball. That is like a tale as old as time. Like,
this is true.
People are like, oh, the pitching, the All-Star game was great. The pitchers were really good. And I'm like, pitchers,
I don't
gives a fuck.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the pitchers. And I really don't understand how the fuck Spencer Strider is so short with such big fucking feet. Have you seen that? No? Okay. I saw a picture of Spencer Strider today. Because the motherfucker's only like, I don't know, 5'11", 6 foot. He's got like size 17 feet. It literally looked like he was wearing fucking clown shoes.
What the hell? They're like, son, you can either play baseball or you're getting enrolled in fucking clown college. You have two choices with those feet.
Literally. And I was like, I don't understand how he doesn't trip over himself, because his feet literally look like the size of his fucking, like the length of his ankle to his fucking knee, because they were like this fucking big. And I'm all, how do you walk? I don't understand. But
that's why he's a pitcher.
Yeah,
because they don't have to walk or run. They just stand on the pitching mound. They can't do anything. And then when they try to, they end up absolutely fucking up a play.
Yeah, no PFPs
90% of the time.
Strider. I say that like I don't actually know if he can do a PFP, but he's like, we're not putting the ball in play. I'm just gonna strike out all you motherfuckers. Like, you're not even gonna touch the ball. Therefore, no PFPs.
Yeah. No one will know that I can't walk.
That, and I don't understand how he doesn't blow out a quad. So, okay. So, who do you think is going to win the NL then? The Braves?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, like the National League Championship? I think. I think the Braves are obviously best positioned too. I think that it would be like too much of a try hard hot take for me to say no, not the Braves. So I'll go on record as saying, yeah, I think the Braves, they absolutely should. But I also feel like the Braves have choked a lot in times when they should won certain times and not. I mean, they did win a World Series, so fuck me. But I don't know. I have a feeling like they're too good. You know what I mean? Like, I just have a feeling they have big time 2022 Dodger energy where they won like 111 games or whatever and then fucking lost to, ironically or coincidentally, the Braves in like the divisional round.
So, okay.
I hope so, because I'm a miserable baseball fan when my team's not good. So I want the good teams and all the fan bases that are having a fun time. I like resent them like a fucking, just like a cartoon character, just like, I'm like, I want something bad to happen to the Braves. I literally said that to my cousin last night out loud.
That's fucking awesome. I love you, Em. That's awesome. I don't care so much about the NL. But if it's one of those teams, like, I want it to be like the Reds, like,
yeah, that'd be sick.
I don't want like the proverbial like good teams to do it if it's gonna be not a team that I like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's go Reds. That's what I want. America's team. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but that's what I want. I want to see Ellie De La Cruz fucking just hit bombs and throw 100-mile-an-hour fucking across the diamond to first. That's what I want to see. Okay.
He is amazing. Electric.
He is just fucking stupid. I'm like, I don't understand, but how would you feel if you were Ellie De La Cruz's 5'8" twin brother? Like,
seriously.
Like, what happened there? God said no.
It is kind of weird.
We're gonna make that one mentally tough. We're gonna make his twin brother just an amazing baseball player, and we're gonna be an
amazing twin, and we're gonna make his twin very supportive of him.
Yes. But apparently he owns like a car wash business or something. So he's an entrepreneur. There you go.
An entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it is. I mean, you have twins. I have my two sisters are twins. So like, and with siblings in general, like when one comes up, like everyone comes up, a rising tide lifts all boats. Right. So he's like, listen, I don't care. As long as my twin is going to be a fucking rich, famous multimillionaire, it's cool. Like they both are.
Right. We got this, bro. Like, cool. You keep doing your thing.
I will admit, like, I didn't know that he was a twin. And then when their birthday was a few weeks ago, and I saw like footage or whatever of the two of them standing near a cake, and I shit you not, I like thought it was a fan or something. I was like, oh, the fan gets to meet Ellie De La Cruz. That's really cool. And they were like, it's twin. I was like, what? God's twisted design.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my biggest fear when I learned that I was having twins, that I was like, "Oh my god." And then so I have identical girls. And so I was like, "Okay, well, at least they're quote unquote identical." You know, like I grew up with a set of twins that it was kind of like that. Like there was like a pretty twin and a not so pretty twin, and I was like, "Oh my god. What what's going to happen if that?" I literally cried, like, while I was, like, huge and fucking pregnant and hormonal to my husband. I was like, "What's gonna happen if the one twin?" And he's like, why are we crying about this? Like, it's like a hypothetical." I was like, "Just humor me and tell me." It's a whole thing. So, I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." But, whatever. Like, it's the same thing with, like, siblings, but I feel like with twins, it's even worse. If it was, like, because siblings, you're like, "Okay, well, older, younger, whatever." But, like, identical twins, you're like, "Oh, fuck." You're like, "Oh, there's the pretty twin, there's the smart twin." I'm like
It's a pretty twin.
"You're both pretty, you're both smart, just keep going,"
Yeah.
And so I'm like, "Fuck it." Anyways,
I guess that's
but
a
yeah.
good thing about them being identical, is that it's like if they're pretty, then they're both pretty.
Well, we say
As
they're
opposed to being like,
identical.
you're beautiful on the inside to like the second twin.
"You've got a really good personality." No, they are, they are identical. Obviously, like, I can tell them
Right.
apart. When they were little, you really couldn't tell them apart because they, like, really, really, really looked identical. Now, one's hair is longer, one's always been a little bit, like, bigger than the other, like, because they were 2 and 3 pounds when they were born, and so, like I said, one's just always been a little bit bigger, and so, like, that one, you can kinda tell, like, she's got a little bit fuller face, and she's just a little bit bigger, like, she's a little bit, I don't
Right.
wanna say thicker, that's not the right word, but she is, she's a
But
little bit
it
thicker
is,
than,
it's like she's a little bit
yeah,
stockier or whatever.
and so now, as they're growing up, I'm all, "No, that's if you can't tell who's who, you really do have a problem because, like, you need to get your eyes checked because literally, like, they look different enough now that you can realize that they're, quote unquote identical twins, but, like,
Right.
you can tell who's who. But I still get, I don't know which one's which. I'm like, motherfucker, just wait. Okay, fine. Just wait until, like, one of them talks. You can tell who's who then. So, anyways,
One a lefty and one a righty?
no,
Or are they both
they're
the same?
nope. Yeah, they're
Mm.
they're both right-handed, yeah. Not mirror twins, which I was like, "That would be cool as fuck." Yeah. No, not
It's
like,
so weird, mirror twins.
yeah, not like Taylor and Tyler Rogers, no, no. Although, I was like, when we were trying to figure out, like, their names and stuff, we I was like, "I can't do the rhyming thing, I can't, 'cause they were gonna be Chloe and Zoe,
Oh
and I
my
was like, "I can't
god.
fucking do it. I can't fucking do it." And so they have completely, like, different names. And, not knocking anybody that does do that with their twins or whatever, like, it just wasn't for me. And so,
No, I agree. And
so
also it's like
they're
if you
just,
want them to be like separate and not have like complexes about
yeah.
competing with each other, then it's like don't name them rhyming names and like make
Yeah.
pretend they're the same fucking person.
Yeah. No, and I've told them, like, from literally since the time that they could, like, understand words, like, "You are 2 different people. If you do 2 different things, like, I would prefer it if you did 2 separate things." Okay? So that, like, we really make that separation between the 2 of y'all. You're gonna be good at some stuff. She's gonna be good at other stuff. You're not the same person. So, I've tried very hard to, like, get that through their head so that, like, when other people do that to them, they're like, "I'm not my sister. I'm good at some things and I'm not good at other things, and she's good at some things and she's not good at other things." I'm all, "You tell him, girl. Tell him."
Yeah, exactly.
But so anyhow, okay. AL. AL East. Will the Rays take it? Will the Orioles
I
take it?
don't Now it's things are obviously a lot more interesting. I mean, I hope, even though I obviously I have no love. In fact, dare I say hate every other team in this division. I fucking hate the Rays. I despise them. So I hope that they just now continue to sink. I would love that. Um, they have 2 fans, and I feel fucking petty rage against them too. I like want to see them suffer. There's only a handful of them, but somehow I just want them to. They were so obnoxious. Those two guys were really obnoxious in the beginning of the season, and now they have to choke on it. So I hope that the Orioles win the division. I really do, because fuck the Rays. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of Yankee fans being like, oh, I wish the Yankees were more like the Rays. The Rays have not won shit. Okay, like who cares about the Rays? They're like their method of building a team. The Yankees should try that. The method has resulted in the same result as the Yankees. So what difference does it make?
Tell me how you really feel, Em.
Yes, I have a lot of feelings about the AL East.
I love it. Okay, so the Orioles are going to take the AL East. I don't even know what the fuck's going to happen in the Central. Like, is it really going to be the Twins with a, what are they, 50-48 right now? You think the Twins will take it?
You know,
or do you think the Guardians?
The Twins are pathetic. Yeah, the Twins are pathetic every year. They are like the only team that I know for sure if the Yankees face in the postseason, the Yankees could be even worse than they are now, and they would still lose and get swept by the Yankees. They just cannot beat the Yankees ever. And I feel like they're just going to kind of roll over and die, and Cleveland might sneak up on them. But man, what a pathetic division. Someone weeks ago tweeted, they were like, someone is going to win the AL Central and they're going to dump champagne all over themselves when they do. Like, but it's just the worst fucking division in the world. Like someone is going to back into that division title and be like, yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, good job.
Must be. I'm obviously so bitter. Like, must be nice to have the worst fucking division.
You're like, God damn it, why can't the Yankees be in there? Although
Yankees would literally be in first place in that division.
Yeah. But I was
not for long, but
not by much though. Not by much, because their record is
50-47.
Yeah. So I mean, percentage points ahead of the Twins. I have something in my tiny eye here. Jesus Christ. Anyways, all right, and AL West. Do you think the Rangers can hold on?
I think that
I was gonna be nice and be like, do the Angels have a chance? Let's
no, the Angels are cooked. I think that with Jordan coming back, and also there's still 50, 60 games left. That's a lot of games left to call a division. With the Astros are right on their heels. They probably have a few series against the Rangers left. I'd imagine they probably have at least 6 games, or maybe 6 games.
I think we just have the one series left, which is coming up.
That makes it very interesting. I wish it was at the end of the year, though. That sucks that it's coming up now.
Yeah. You keep talking about that, and I will look it up, make sure.
I think that Jordan coming back will be huge for the Astros. That'll be a big boost. But the Astros pitching is a problem. I think that their starters have not been as, some of them are hurt. Some of them haven't been as sharp as they were last year. I think that the bullpen needs a little bit more depth, probably, even though it's been pretty good. But I feel like just with the Yankees, it's starting to get a little gassed. That's what happens with the bullpens. You have a bunch of guys that you go to, and they're lights out for the first half, and then they start to putter a little bit in the second half and start giving up bombs and blowing games. So I think Texas is going to hold on, barring like major injury to any of their stars. I think that they're going to hold on.
So we have 3 games with Texas next week, and then 3 games with Texas in the beginning of September. So we shall see.
The Yankees play Texas at the end of the season again. I think we did at the end of the year 2021, the end of 2022, and I think we're set that way in 2023.
Yeah, we play.
So don't count on us to take that series if you guys need it.
Damn it! Yeah, we play the Yankees right before we play Texas. So it's Yankees, Texas, San Diego, Oakland, Kansas City, Orioles, Kansas City.
Easy run. Holy shit.
Seattle, and then Diamondbacks. So, we shall see. But yeah, we have 3 coming up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and then 3 at the beginning of September, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So we'll see if they can hold on. But like I said, I've never rooted harder for the fucking Dodgers. Stupid Dodgers.
Oh wait, we don't play Texas again. I just made that up. Never mind.
Like, JK.
Maybe you actually have a chance then if you guys need them to lose games at the end of the season.
Let's hope, man. Let's fucking hope. Because I want to say their schedule got harder or something. I don't fucking know.
Let me look.
Let me see here. Fucking Texas Rangers. All I know is that 3 games. I'm dumb. Not 4 games, 3 games. Since the All-Star game is in Arlington next season, I was like, oh, I want to go so bad because it's like right there. But then I'm like, do I really want to go to fucking Arlington? Because it's Arlington and it's not fun. It's not fun.
I say yes. I'm dying to go to an All-Star game. I'm dying to go to the home run derby. Do it. If you can do it, do it. Because who knows when the Astros will host it. They're not getting a new stadium anytime soon. So they're probably, who knows how far down the list they are for an All-Star game.
Forever. I don't know. Let's go, Em. You and me next season.
I would love to.
Go. Let's do it. Let's plan it. Oh my god, that would be hysterical.
That would be so fun. I would love to do that.
You, me, and Kelsey. It'll be we can get all of the content.
I'm in.
Let's do it. I'm like, Kelsey, we'll just DM her afterwards. Be like, hey, Kelsey, guess what? We're just gonna plan for the All-Star game and home run derby next season. And we're doing it. Let's go. And she's like, wait, do I get a choice? No, you do not.
And
okay.
You're paying too. We decided that as well.
Sorry, you missed the meeting.
So nice of you.
You gotta. That's what you gotta do. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. In September they have, after us, they have Oakland 4 with Toronto, the Guardians, Boston, Seattle, Angels, Seattle.
That's pretty easy. I mean, it's not the easiest, but it's not the toughest.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe the Blue Jays will be okay. Maybe
Blue Jays
depending on who's pitching for. I don't even know what the fuck Boston's doing.
They fuck them. They are such a bunch of fucking losers. They'll be terrible by then. Don't worry.
I'm like, I say they're terrible now, but like, what the fuck?
They are. They'll be even worse. But my pettiness usually blows up in my face. So everything that I've been like really bitter about and said really like with conviction is going to be the opposite. So you have that to look forward to.
Perfect. I mean,
Boston's winning the World Series. That means
that would hurt so bad.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Honestly, New York City would burn to the ground.
Are you okay? So are you one of the are you the Yankee fans that consider the Red Sox your mortal enemy, like your rival? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. See, again, this is like before baseball season because everyone's like, yeah, the Yankees and the Red Sox. And I'm all, really? Like I don't see it. Like I would think that, and maybe it's the vitriol that like is spewed towards like Astros fans from like Yankee fans that I'm all, really? Like Yankee fans, like I thought the Yankees like hated the Astros more. They're like, no, like the Red Sox. And then I have like talked to Yankee fans and like, no, like we don't give a fuck about the Red Sox because they suck. But fuck the Astros. Well, oh, all right then, you know. And so it's one of those where like, well, who are the Astros rivals? I'm like, I don't know, like the Yankees, like, and everyone's like, no, Susie, it's the Cardinals. I'm all, the Cardinals. Exactly.
No, the Cardinals have the Cubs,
and they're all, oh, Susie, you're such a new fan. I'm all,
the Cardinals.
I'm like, what am I missing? And they're like, the Cardinals were like the Astros killers when it was like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Like when we were in the NL, I was like, but we haven't been in the NL for like, I don't fucking know like how long. I was like, so now it's like the Cardinals and the Cubs. And they're like, no, Susie, the Cardinals. I was like, we haven't played the Cardinals in I don't know how fucking long. Like it's not the Cardinals. Stop it.
And like getting your ass beat by a team for a long time doesn't make them your rival. It just makes them fucking someone who beat up on you a lot.
Exactly. And I was like, no, that's not it. So I'm like, no. At this point, I feel like it's either like the Yankees or like, I don't know, like the Dodgers or like, dare I say the fucking, I don't know, like the Mariners, maybe. Like and at this point, I just really think of like, which fan base is the most insufferable to me? And I'm like, oh no, that by far and away, Mariners. Done and done.
Really?
Like, oh god, yeah. Like it's not like I've met some like I have seen some like insufferable Yankee fans, but oh my god, like the fucking Mariners fans are just off the fucking charts. And if you're a Mariners fan and you're listening to this, but for some god awful reason, I have no idea. I'm very sorry and I apologize, but like, get a fucking grip, y'all. Like, so many fucking Mariners fans came out the goddamn woodwork last season when we put a fucking broom on our fucking like graphic.
Oh yeah, on the social media thing.
Oh my god. Like, you would have thought that like I don't know, like kidnapped and tortured the first fucking born of every child in fucking Seattle the way they acted. I was like, it's a picture of a broom, y'all. Like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. Like, I promise you. Like, no, it was the end of the fucking world. And like, so many, I was like, I can't. I can't. I'm like, if I start talking about this like on Twitter, I'm gonna just get into so many fucking arguments with fucking strangers on the internet that I don't have time. I literally don't have time. Like, I have enough drama in my own fucking life that I actually know. I can't add to it with fucking strangers on the internet. I can't do it. And then,
well, fans of teams that like have been historically bad, like the Mariners, the Orioles, like their fans have this like underdog complex where, or like, and like a lovable loser sort of complex where they like view it as like, hey, how dare you? Like, as if they're like a high school team and the Astros or the Yankees are like beating down on them and the fans are like taunting them. It's like, how dare you? Like, you know, oh, you're, or like when fans of their teams then start getting a little bit of cockiness because the team's good. It's like, oh, you're turning into Astros fans. You're turning into Yankees fans. It's like, no, you are just whining and you like think that everyone should coddle this team. Like, they're fucking professionals. Give me a break. Like, stop being such a fucking baby about everything.
Yeah, I was like, you do, like, yes, I realize that you are literally the only team that gave us any fucking trouble till we got to the World Series. Like, I yes, you are correct. You know, but then do you remember that fucking there was in the game that Jordan hit the fucking 3-run home run to win the game? There was a close up of a kid, an Astros fan that was like crying because obviously you were losing the game. Okay. Do you know how many fucking Mariners fans, like the literal thread of that picture of that kid, how many people said that they were going to find that kid and kill him?
I
was like,
it's
what is
the underbelly of fandom is so fucked up.
I was like, bro, he's like 10. What the fuck is the matter with you? Like, do you like what the and I'm gonna give him something to cry. He's 10. What are you doing?
What?
Like, I assume that you're a grown ass fucking adult and you're literally going after a fucking 10-year-old. Like, what? Stop it. Just fucking stop. Like, I can't with y'all.
Yeah,
and
like,
literally
log off and fucking go outside.
The entire, I was like, I can't. I was like, nope, Susie, you can't do it. You can't do it. Like, you literally, nope, can't do it. So I'm like, I can't. So I just like muted all of the things that had to do with, I was like, deep breath, go outside, turn off Twitter.
I mute everything at a certain time, at literally every tweet, every single tweet. At some point, I will mute it. Like, sometimes it's right away. Other times it's like after an hour, I'm like, okay, or a few hours, I'm like, mute this. But literally every time, I highly suggest it.
Well, but you
like,
also
I'm saying what I'm saying, and I don't care about your opinion. So why am I?
You have like a bajillion people that follow you. I have like 4. I mean, I don't have 4, but like I don't have like thousands of people. So I could totally understand why like you're muting shit. Like me, I'm like, no, I just don't want to see you anymore. So I'm gonna just like, we're just gonna mute all mentions of Mariners. And so, but yeah. So okay. So then who takes it for the AL? Who is playing the Braves in the World Series?
The AL. Well, it's obviously going to be whichever team. It's not going to be a Central team. I'll tell you that much. They're going to get beat the fuck up by whoever they play.
You don't think it's going to be the Twins and the Braves?
No, if the Twins will, if that is the World Series, then that means that like there was a horrible plane crash involved of the other team that was going to play them in the championship series. So they just got it by like
default.
They were the next team down. I still think it'll be the Astros. I think that the Astros will, because they'll still get a wild card even if they don't win their division. I think that they are just
they're just
that
rematch
team in the postseason.
It's a rematch.
And also I have
21?
PTSD, so I feel like I can't say any other team. It would be like a total lie if I'm just terrified of them in the postseason at this point. So
it's a rematch of 21. Is that what
I think
saying?
so. I do. No one else has a hitter like Jordan who just always gets the big hit. Acuna seems like he might be that guy this year. Who, we'll see if it happens in the postseason. But like having Jordan makes all the difference in the world.
Matt Olson's trying to make a fucking run for, I don't know, like NL player of the fucking year. Is that a thing? I don't know. NL MVP?
MVP?
Yeah.
There's no way he'll take it away from Acuna. Acuna would have to.
That's true.
Like just take a dump on the home plate every time he gets up to the plate to lose it at this point.
Well, I think he did. He hit 2 home runs today. So I think Matt Olson is now leading the NL in home runs still again. Because there was, I think there was a time when he wasn't, like for like 3 days. And then Matt Olson said, hold my beer. Let me do this.
Let's see. Let me see who the leader is. Fuck. Yeah, Olson.
Is it Olson? Yeah. It's a lot
if he hit 2 today, that means he's got 32 because it says he has 30.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hit 2 home runs today, and then like Austin Riley hit a home run to be the Diamondbacks today. I really thought the Diamondbacks were gonna fucking sweep. They did not. That was a fucking game too. Jesus Christ. Spencer Strider fucking strikes out 13, but is like losing, and I'm all, baseball's not fair, bro. Like, that's not. How do you do that?
And he's like, oh, cry me a river. Oh, you did something amazing and your team fucking shit the bed.
Oh, poor Shohei Ohtani. Who do you think is going to win the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes?
Oh, man. I think it'll probably be either the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mets, or the Dodgers. Those are the only teams that I can really see shelling out for a player like that. Maybe the Rangers. Maybe.
You think the Yankees will shell out for a rental for 2 months of a rental?
Oh, you mean if he gets traded?
Yeah. Yeah. No, just for this season. That's what. Sorry. Oh, just for this season. Who do you think?
I don't think that he'll get traded.
Really?
Yeah, I think
that. You think the Angels hold on to him?
Yeah, I think that he's kind of in a lose. What's his face? That loser Art Moreno is in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Whereas like you trade him and then it's like you traded the best player of all time, but at least you got something back for him. But if you don't trade him, then you let him walk, and then it's like, okay, so you don't get you don't get anything for him. Yeah. You could have traded him and gotten a very nice return for only a 2-month rental.
Yep.
Because obviously it's not going to be something insane, like an insane haul, because it's not like Juan Soto, where when he got traded to the Padres last year, he had 2.5 years left of team control before he reaches free agency. So like, but you're still going to get maybe a major league caliber player, major league ready player, and a prospect or two. But then again, like the Angels don't really care about their system or like player like, so I don't know. Art Moreno, like, I don't know. I think that he's, because of the kind of owner he is, I don't see him trading it, just because look at their stadium is fucking packed because everyone wants to go see Shohei. So he's going to miss out on those months of ticket sales and concession sales. And because the minute that Shohei's not there, that's going to, his attendance is going to tank.
Yeah. Yeah. It does suck. He isn't I was like, why don't you just sell the team? Just sell the team and be like, you got Shohei for this entire year. But again, that's, it is what it is. So, all right. So, Astros and Braves.
Yeah, I guess Astros Braves.
Redo of 21. So, do you think the Astros take it this time again? Do you think there's going to be back-to-back World Series winners?
No.
Nope.
I
Braves are
think
going to
that
win
if the
it.
Braves, if the Braves are able to maintain this momentum to the point where they get to the World Series, I think that it will be very tough to beat them. Their team is just too good. Their lineup is just so good.
I will agree with that.
They have hitters in the positions where you should have offensive output, and the key to being unbelievable is having really good hitters in positions that don't have offensive output, like catcher.
Yeah.
Like, shortstop, like second base, like all these other positions where they have guys that are hitting fucking 30 home runs, and we still have 2 months left to play. So
yes,
3 months, 2 months,
fucking
no, like 2 months.
Sean Murphy and his all that cake, so delightful. Anyways,
Braves cheating scandal news is when it breaks, gonna be huge.
I'm telling you, there's Anthopoulos Island, and that's how fucking they get all of their players to sign the fucking the team friendly contracts and giving a percentage of their wages back to the Braves.
Which is fucked up. The league should fucking investigate that. It's weird.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad to get to charity, but like that seems sketchy.
Literally, I'm like, how is that happening? How is literally all of the fucking players giving a percentage of their team friendly contract back to the fucking Braves?
They must have some other deal that the Braves were able to find loopholes or whatever to have them make money some other way. I don't even know.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Anthopoulos Island, they have all of the fucking players' families locked up on the island. They're like, you're gonna have to sign the contract, bro. Like, sorry, like that's what you're gonna have to do
10-year, $5.5 million deal.
Fuck them. Shelby and I did a little like mini podcast about it, and I was telling her about it, and she's like, are you telling me the truth? She's like, I feel like you're just lying to me just to get like I'm like, I swear to God, like this is a rumor on fucking Twitter. And then like I read her all the fucking contracts, and she's like, wait, what? Well, I'm telling you, like that. How else can you fucking explain it? She's like, I can't. I was like, exactly. See, Anthopoulos Island. But there you go. So now the Dana Browns over here at them all. Dana Brown, I just want to mention that there are some islands like down here on the coast. No one fucking knows about those islands, okay? Like no one. I'm just saying, if you need a place to like to hold the people,
kidnap,
just
to human traffic, we got a spot for you. Beautiful.
Just saying, like right Freeport's like right here. There's no security. Just we can do it. I'm just letting you know, okay? There really isn't. There really isn't. That's a whole other can of worms that we just won't get into right now because it's a baseball podcast, not a human rights podcast. That's a whole other thing that I'm all, what's going on?
That's
over there?
The next hour.
Yeah, that's the next hour. So, all right. Well, and we have been talking for like an hour and a half. That's a very long time. So, I really appreciate you coming on, Em, and tell the peoples where they can find you, where they can find your podcast and all that fun stuff.
Our podcast is on every podcast platform, Breaking Balls with Emily Nyman. We release an episode sometimes every week, sometimes every 2 weeks, usually towards the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can find me on Twitter at MSheDoesIt. And if you enjoyed this conversation at all, then you would definitely enjoy my podcast because it's basically the same thing, except instead of talking to Susie, I'm talking to my cousin John.
I'm still looking for a female co-host, Em. So if you want to add something else to your plate, like you could just be like Bourbon and Baseball. It's with Susie. Like, just saying.
I mean, don't tempt me with a good time.
I mean, that was my nickname in high school, Susie. Good time. I say Fulton. That's my fucking married name. Roberts was my maiden name. There we go. It actually wasn't. Asian Sensation was mine. No, just kidding.
Asian Sensation.
That was my stripper name. Okay, so, but yeah, so, well, I guess that leads me into my last point. So, ladies, if you listen to this podcast, you like baseball. So if you have ever been interested in, I don't know, talking about baseball on like a actual platform, hit me up. Slide into my DMs, SusieQ_111 or the Bourbon in Baseball. Excuse me, Bourbon in B-ball. I'm dumb. Don't go to Bourbon in Baseball because that's not me. Okay. Look for the Asian girl in the avatar. And there's the Bourbon in B-ball up there. I don't know where I'm pointing up there. And then Suzy Q _ 111, or on Instagram, all the same places. YouTube, carrier pigeon, let me know. Smoke signals, okay? Message me, ladies, if you like to talk about Astros, or baseball in general. Typically baseball in general, because that's what we like to do. All of the teams, all of the baseballs, okay? So hit me up, let me know, and don't forget to go check out Emily at Breaking Balls Podcast. I love that name. FYI, it's hysterical.
Thank you.
So with that, we will say good night, and I hope you enjoyed this last podcast. So yay, baseball! I don't know where the end broadcast. There we go. Oops, I have to push it again apparently, because it's literally like, do you want to really end the podcast? Yes, that's why I pushed the fucking button. Thank you.